Ty Brady here with Brady Insurance Marketing in the Ty Brady Way. As a successful entrepreneur myself, I'm passionate in helping other entrepreneurs do the same as they rise from rags to riches and get inspired each week on the stories they tell here at the Ty Brady Way. Today, I have an exciting guest on the show today. Someone I've never had a constable on the show. I've had a lot of successful entrepreneurs, but his story is amazing, and I'd like to share with you today. But I have Travis Reitz with me today. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you.
Dude, thanks so much for being on the show today. And everyone likes to hear the story on how did you even get in the industry? And if somebody wanted to get in the industry, what would they have to do? Like, what does that process look like?
Sure. So my dad was actually a constable, and he's been a constable or deputy constable now for 54 years.
Wow.
He actually works for me now. He hasn't fully retired. But so my long-term goal wasn't to be in law enforcement or be a constable, but I went to the U. I was getting my business degree. The job market sucked. And so I had gone through the police academy. I was working for my dad full-time. I was going to school full-time, and job market sucked. So I just kind of kept doing it. And now it's been 23 years that I've been a deputy. And I was appointed as a constable in Utah County. And then when my dad and another constable retired in 2019, there was an appointment available, and I applied up there. So I'm actually a constable in 2 counties.
Okay.
I have deputies in both counties, but we can actually work anywhere in the state. And so we work about 8 counties. We have 12 deputies that work for us, and we stay quite busy. So if someone does want to get into this
how would they? So you said the police academy, so that would be everybody's a deputy constable has to be
sworn officer.
Okay.
Yeah, so they would go through the police academy. Now, as a special functions officer, you only have to get Cat 2 certification. If you want to be a full law enforcement officer where you're driving the patrol car and stuff, then you go through an extended version of the police academy. And that's what a lot of people that work for me do.
Yeah.
But they haven't gone into other agencies yet. They actually end up liking working for me and stay.
Yeah, I see you're packing heat and all that good stuff. I'm like, man, I wouldn't want to see you on the street. But what's a day like when you're out? I mean, what does a constable do, and then what does that day look like?
Sure. And I always like to joke about constables are kind of the best kept secret of law enforcement, at least in Utah, because a lot of people have never dealt with a constable. So every month we get roughly 3,000 new papers. Some of those are for evictions, some are for divorce, some of those are protective orders, stalking injunctions, just a wide variety of stuff, including just simple small claims affidavits. And so an average day, all of our deputies, they check in at night, they get all their new stuff for the next day, they sort it, they organize it, and the next day they may be seizing vehicles. We seized a Corvette yesterday.
Wow.
We did multiple evictions yesterday. And then we're just serving simple garnishments. You know, somebody owes the tax commission some money, and so the tax commission will garnish their wages or their bank account. Every day is a little bit different, which is nice. Most of my deputies are out in the field working. I tend to be in the office about 50% of the time, then in the field 50% of the time. But that's kind of an average day, serving a bunch of court papers, seizing property, evicting people. Sometimes we have to seize kids from one parent to give to another parent per court order.
Oh, my.
So every day is a little different.
I had no idea. The more I talk to you, the more interested I'm in finding out more about what you do. What would you say the positive thing of your industry is, and then maybe a negative or a story you had? But I mean, it's definitely, so attorneys hire you? Is that mostly attorneys hire you? Or I could come to you if I needed to, I don't know why I'd serve papers?
Yeah. So we have government contracts. We have private law firm contracts, and then private individuals hire us as well. So there's a wide variety of who we work for, and we're happy to work for anybody that needs us to do their work. And I've forgotten your question. So what was your question?
Well, so that was a great question. What I was saying is, what's a positive thing?
Okay.
Yeah. And then, maybe some stories that,
there's positives for the people that we're serving them, obviously. I mean, you may have a landlord that has a tenant that's done $10,000 worth of damage in their house. They haven't paid rent. And so they hire us to do an eviction, or their attorney. So for them, that's a really positive event for us to get that bad tenant out. But sometimes it's divorce papers. Sometimes you'll serve a spouse and they will cry and they're upset. Other times they're like, thank you. I've been waiting for this. I'm so glad you came. So everything's a little bit different. So I always joke that nobody really likes us, but when I'm out serving, I'm this friendly to people. They're already in a bad situation. They're already having a bad day. There's no need for me to make it any worse. And so I try to be friendly. I try to be polite until I can't. Sometimes you got to escalate a little bit and then de-escalate them and help them realize, hey, you've got some options. You can just leave on your own, or you might have to leave in handcuffs. What do you prefer? Some weird stories. I mean, we have a lot. I mean, we've seized airplanes. In fact, while you and I were on that couples retreat in New Zealand, I think I showed you a video of an attorney and one of my deputies in Hurricane seizing an airplane, and they had a guy flying it off. So
why would that be needed? Like an example, why do you have to seize property? I mean, is that what is that?
So they owe a lot of money. So later today, I'll actually go up to Francis, Utah, and disable some excavators and some compactors so we can sell them in the near future. Somebody owes just a lot of money. It may be they owe for a bad debt, whatever. Yeah, or they just stopped paying the finance company. And so we've got to go back and seize. Like yesterday when we seized that Corvette, they just stopped paying the credit union. And so the credit union got the appropriate court orders. The repo guys couldn't get it because the guy wouldn't cooperate. So then it goes up to the next level where they have to get court orders to allow us to go in. And one of the court orders is a writ of assistance, which allows us to actually go into their home, go into the garage, seize the vehicle, and leave.
Wow.
And so we hire locksmiths and stuff to get in to do that. So fun stories. There's lots of those. I mean, we've had naked 67-year-old guys that wouldn't leave the apartment trying to stab us with knives. I get the knives from him. Then he has scissors. And so there's lots of weird stuff like that. But kind of some bad stories. There's plenty of those too. It was actually my birthday. It was my 5th eviction of the day. And we knocked. Super nice guy. Manager said super nice guy. He ends up taking his own life while I was knocking on the door. So that was a rough situation. So you have some fun ones. You have some really bad ones. And the bad ones stick with you. And you try to do some education and training with your deputies. Hey, this could happen. Make sure to get some mental health assistance. If you need it, talk to me. And I'm always trying to tell my guys, read good books.
Yeah.
Do a lot of self, things for yourself to make sure you're in a good spot. So when you do go talk to these people who may not be in a good spot, at least you are, and you can try to help them in a positive way, even though it's not a positive situation.
Ooh, wow. That was deep. You said something about, I wish I would have known. I had a tenant that did about $10,000 in damage. And I could never find her. I used a couple of companies. To this day, she skipped trace. I don't know if she ever went back to work, but she disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Had a great job, was a great tenant for a while, and then just got mad because of the whole situation. And, she trashed the walls and tore it up. And I was like, ouch, that hurt. But, if you're going to be a landlord, it's something you have to deal with, right?
Yeah. Call me. I'll find I'll find her for you.
Next time. I just didn't know you at that time.
Yeah. Some of the houses we go in, I really feel bad for the kids because they are, not all of them, some are very clean. Some are much cleaner than my house, but a lot of the evictions we do are nasty. Yeah. I mean, there's dog feces everywhere. There's garbage that hasn't been taken out. There's bed bugs. I mean, I've left and had bed bug bites on my arms. And, I use a lot of alcohol and different crap, the rubbing alcohol to get, just clean up after you get out your car. And you're just like, I need to go home and shower.
Yeah. Well, you said that your dad and you kind of switched roles. Your dad did it 54 years. Now you're running it. He works for you. Where do you see it going the next 10 years? Or, is this a lifelong pursuit? What's your passion?
So I have lots of passions.
Traveling. Yeah.
But, so I was kind of blessed and fell into what my dad had created, which was really nice because most constables, if they're appointed and get deputies, they have to go out and find all of their own clients and things like that. So I was lucky enough to be able to take over a lot of his clients, get some new clients and things like that. So I think long-term there's a need for constables because there's always going to be evictions. There's always going to be, divorces and things of that nature. And the sheriff's office, most of them have a civil division that does what we do. However, they have plenty of other things that they're doing as well. And so the constable has a high demand for those needs. And I think the economy in some aspects is going to continue to get worse in the short term. And so I think we're going to be very busy over the next couple of years doing what we do. At any rate, I hope to grow our business. I hope to get more deputies, expand our area a little bit. I definitely need some more staff that's good. And I'm just hoping to continue to grow and enjoy it and hopefully be able to travel some more as well with some of you guys.
You just got to get more people, more manpower, right?
To delegate some of what I do so I can play a little bit more too.
You do about 33,000 a month?
Currently we do, yes. Ooh. Before some government regulations changed, we actually used to do a lot more. We had some really, really big clients, but because of the way whatever rules changed, the government changed some things and those clients had to change what they were doing, and they took on a lot more risk by representing some clients. And so one customer, for example, used to send us about 5,000 papers themselves per month.
Yeah.
And now we do about 30 or 40 a month for them. So their whole business structure changed. But then we have other clients that continue to grow with the way they do things. So it's just weird and different. But currently about 3,000 a month.
What does your ideal day look like?
Sleep in, have a lemonade on the beach.
I like it.
Oh, I'm you mean in work?
No, that's great. I know. I like it.
Teasing. Well, as you know, like we have Egypt coming up this year. We have Bali next year. So those are ideal days for me. But with work, I usually get up early. I take the kids to school. I'm at the office by about 8, and I start organizing what we need to do for the day. To be honest, an ideal day is no angry clients that call, no angry defendants that call. The deputies all have a good day and they're successful and safe. That's really an ideal day for me, is everybody's safe, everybody's happy. When I start getting those phone calls, hey, this happened, that happened, it starts to become a little more stressful, and you got to figure out, was the defendant lying? Is the deputy misunderstood what's going on? And I'll tell you, these body cameras, they're fantastic. They save our butt a lot, because a lot of people do lie and say this and this happened, and they truly didn't happen. And the body cameras really do save our butts if we're doing what we're supposed to be doing.
When do you turn that on? As soon as you get to a property, or is it automatically like motion? How does that work?
So ours aren't as fancy. We don't get any government funding whatsoever. So
all private.
Exactly. So everything that I buy from my deputies, when it comes to body cameras, the tasers, that just basically comes out of my pocket. I make less money, but I want them to be safe. And so I do that for them. But so they're supposed to, like, as they get out of the car, these are supposed to be on and they're supposed to be running. The good thing is, if something quick happens and they haven't turned it on yet, these pre-record the 30 seconds before you push play. And so usually we catch everything that we need to.
Oh, wow. Just so it goes back, essentially. So it's already recorded. That's wild.
Yeah. Now, if you're just turning it immediately on, it can't go back 30 seconds. But if it's on as you leave your car, before you get to the door, you hit record, and everything's recording.
So then you require them to upload at the end of every day? Is that how it is? Is it not, or is it automatic because everything's in this cloud we have today?
Unfortunately, those body cameras are a lot more expensive. So no, we just physically plug in and we upload to some Google platforms and save everything.
How long do you have to save it? Is there a requirement?
I believe there is. I don't remember what the requirement is, but I've never deleted any. So I just keep paying the money for the storage.
Okay.
So.
And then I'm sure you do it by day, right? If you had to go back and look at the footage.
Exactly.
By day.
These mark them with the year, month, date, and then a specific code. So I just look up the date and I can find them pretty quickly.
Yeah. You do like to travel. We'll end on this note. You said Egypt. I think next year we said Bali, right? Yep. Is the next trip. Why do you like to travel?
It's really cool to dive into somebody else's culture, to get to know them, the way they work, what they do, why they live the way they do. And there are so many beautiful places to go. I served an LDS mission in the Philippines. I've been back there several times, but it's one of the most beautiful countries, but also some of the friendliest people I've ever met, the most generous, loving, and giving. And so going to some of these other countries, I always find amazing people. I learn about them. I love to know more about them and just go see what they see every day. And for them, sometimes, there's the pyramids, big deal. We're in a hotel across the street eating breakfast in amazement every day. And they're like, yeah, it's all right. And so it's just cool to go see what they get to do, what they get to see, and how they live.
It's amazing as we learn those stories, the culture. I mean, you and I went to what's that? The culture where they dance.
Oh, the Maori village.
The Maori village.
Yeah.
Just to hear that culture and the way they used to be and how the tribes worked. Just phenomenal to hear all that. And I think for me, it's like the world is a big place, a vast place, but at the same time, because we can travel globally pretty quick, we can see some phenomenal areas and just the beauty and the origin. I mean, the other thing I saw in New Zealand that I didn't know, it was the largest or the last operating steam boat in the nation, right? And how it was built and had to be shipped down in pieces and then rebuilt. So they built it far away, put it on was it a barge? I can't remember It was a bar. They shipped it somehow.
Yeah, they shipped it on a huge in containers and then brought it over and reassembled it piece by piece again.
Yeah,
and it's still running today, and it was cool. It was
they use it as a taxi, like just to get stuff around the lake because there's no roads across that lake. That was just crazy. Any last thoughts you'd like to leave with our audience? And I want to let you know I appreciate you being on the show today. Any last thoughts?
The thing that comes to mind is just, if anybody's thinking about getting into business with you, I've been able to spend. Well, that's the thing is really the last thoughts I have is you're an amazing person. You're a loving person. And I see when we talk, you're always talking about your team, people that you're working with. You're talking about your clients, the way you want to treat them. And it really impresses me because you love what you do. You love who you work with. And so what I would say is I'm just kind of ending is if you have the chance to work with Ty, whether you're a client, whether you're a contractor with him, please do, because he's an amazing person. And that's kind of what I want to leave with is just how much you impress me.
Well, I'll pay you later. No, I'm just kidding. I won't pay you later. No, I would say ditto. If you got anybody that's listening that would be interested in learning how to be a constable, I'm sure Travis would like to have a chat. And, he did mention he wants to grow, right? And there is a big need. I was going to mention one other thing in 2008, 2009, when the housing market, I can just imagine how busy you were with evictions because I was going down streets and just for sale. But, there is a need. It has to be done the right way. And thanks again for being on the show.
You bet.
As always, share, like, and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Ty Brady Way. As always, share, like, and subscribe. Go to Instagram at ty.r.brady. And as always, love hearing from you. And let me know what you want to learn on the show or what you'd like me to bring up on the show. Thanks.
You can find the Ty Brady Way on Instagram as well as Facebook. To stay connected with giveaways and Ty himself, go ahead and follow at ty.r.brady on Instagram as well as Facebook. This podcast was recorded, edited, and produced by Whitney Face Media Marketing. The theme music is an excerpt from Hot Chicken of the Woods by Isaac Joel.